Okay, here we go with Algebra 1, Section 6.3, Notes 28. It's solving multi-step inequalities. So this is additional to what we did the other day. This is, put your name, your date, and your class period, please. And then we'll go into our examples. There's no vocabulary words. So it says solve a two-step inequality. It says solve and graph your solutions. So here we go with this problem. Remember, we were going to, we're going to use this in the calculator. Remember, we're going to put the left side into y1. We're going to put 7x plus 8. And then in y2, we're going to put the 22. Okay, so get your calculator and let's plug it in. Remember, you should have reset your calculator. See if I did. Uh-oh. Guess what I did again. Okay. All right. Get rid of that. Let me pull my screens up so you can see them. Okay, so make sure you have reset your calculator. If not, you'll have something like what I do. All right, so here we go. Wait, let me clear off my keypad here so you know what I'm typing in. We're going to type in 7x plus 8. And then I'm going down to the second row, and that's where I'm going to enter the 22. And I'm going to go to the table, so hit second and graph. And my numbers are all over the place. If you reset, then you'll be okay. Let me change mine because I failed to reset. I told you guys to reset, and I didn't do it. So here we go. And go back to my table. So you should have something similar to this. And remember, this is where I want to see whether two things are equal. So if I go down to this point, use, whoops. What did I push? Oh, my pen. Okay, there we go. I have 22 on both sides when the x is a 2. So when I go back to my screen here, my magical number that I'm looking at is x is going to be close to a 2. So let me put that up here. X with a 2. And then here on the number line, notice it's blank. So here in the center somewhere, I'm going to put a 2 and then a circle. And then to the right, it's not numbered at all, so I just need to pick a number that's bigger than 2. So I can do 4. And I need a number to the left that is smaller than 2, so I'm going to pick 0 and just place it somewhere over to the side. I don't need to know exactly where. And then I need a test. I need to test these values in my equation here. So this is where I'm going to go back to my calculator, and I'll put it here that I'm going to type in 7 times 0 plus 8, and I'm going to test to see if it's greater than 22. And then I'm going to enter 7 times 4 plus 8, and I'm going to test to see if it's greater than 22, because I want to find which side is true, and that's the side that I'm going to shade. I'm going to go back to my calculator. And I'm going to get out of this mode, so I hit second mode. And then let me clear my key spaces here again. So I'm going to type in 7 parentheses 0 plus 8. And then remember to test, I have to go to the math button, so second and math. And my equation is the greater than symbol. So I'm going down to number 3 and enter. And then I'm checking to see if it's greater than 22. Remember, I'll get an answer of either a 0 or a 1. Here, I got 0. So, oops, go back. That means the 0 is false. Okay, let me get red, emphasize. This is my false side, so that means the 4 must be my true. I want to double check it just to make sure that that is my true side. So if I go back into my picture, okay, I'm going to pull that back down and go over to the 0. I'm going to put a 4 in that place and push enter. And here I got a 1. which that means the 4 is a true answer. So let me get my red pen again. So this side is true. That means I'm going to shade the true side, so I'm going to shade to the right. And make sure you put an arrow indicating that it just continues on and on and on. So I have graphed my answer, but the solve, make sure you solve it. The shading is going to the right, so that means the 4 is bigger than the 2. So the x, that means 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all of those are greater than 2, and there's your answer. Okay, let me go to the second example over here to the right. I'm going to enter y1 from the left equation and y2 on the right equation. All right, so negative 4x plus 3. And the second equation is going to be 15. Go to your table, and we'll look into where they both equal 15. My blue column here is all negative, so I need to go up. And there's my 15. Both the y1 and y2 are 15 when the x is a negative 3. All right, so my equation is going to start looking like an x and a negative 3. So negative 3 I'm going to place here in the center. And this is a greater than symbol. It does not have the equal, so that means I have an open circle. And then I need number to the left and to the right. So to the right of my number, they are increasing, so I'm going to plug in the 0 to the right. To the left, they are decreasing, so let's enter something like negative 5. I'm going to place those into the x. Okay, I'm going to clear out my number keypad. Second mode to get out of this and clear. So here we go. I'm going to type in negative 4 times, and I'm going to enter negative 5 plus 3 is going to be greater than, so hit your second and test. Greater than is number 3, and it has to be greater than 15. All right, push enter, and I get a 1. That means the negative 5 is true. Let me plug in the 0. Make sure I haven't typed something wrong, because sometimes that does happen. I'll go back up and grab it and enter. So the negative 5 now becomes a 0 and enter. I get 0 as an answer, so that means this is, in fact, a false statement. That means everything, all my answers to my equation are to the left of negative 3. I need to shade to the, always shade the true sign. So I'm going to shade to the left, make sure you have an arrow, and then I need to look at my inequality here. So the x's, all my answers are going to be like negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7. Are these greater than negative 3, or are they less than negative 3? Well, negative 4 is smaller than negative 3, therefore they're going to be less than. There's your expression for your, that's the solve, and here's your graph solution. Okay. The third example, same stuff. I'll put y1 for negative 7 and y2 for the negative 2x plus 9. Okay, I have my two equations in. I'm going to hit second and graph. And I'm looking for -7, which it's close to the bottom of my screen. So that means I'm going to go down. And there's my -7. Both are -7, and the x is going to be 8. All right, so that means I have an x with an 8. The center of my number line, I'm going to put an 8. Here, notice my symbol. I have my circle, and this one has the equals attached to it. So what does that mean about circle? I need to shade it in. And to the right, I'll have numbers like 9, 10, 11, 12. To the left, I have numbers like 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. So I'm going to pick two numbers, and I'm going to plug them into my equation. I'm going to pick 6 and 10, and I'm going to plug them in. Realize I'm just picking numbers left and right. I got a test. Okay, so I had -7, and then my equation, which was the greater than or equal to, which is number 4. Okay, and I have -2 times 6 plus 9. Oh, try that again. -2 times 6 plus 9. There we go. Okay, and this gives me a 0, which means that is a false. Let me get back over here. So the 6 was a false statement. That means the 10 must be true, but I want to double check. Just make sure. If I pull this back and enter, I'm going to change the 6 to a 10 and enter, and I get a 1. Does verify that the 10 is true, and we always shade the true side, so I'm shading to the right. Make sure you put an arrow. And now, to answer my equation here, if I'm shading to the right, that means the answers are like 9, 10, 11, and 12, and these numbers are all bigger than 8. Therefore, we put the greater than symbol. And there's your solution. All right. Next one, 9x plus 2 will be y1, and 5x minus 18 will be y2. Plug them into your calculator. Okay, so 9x plus 2, and then 5x minus 18. Let's go to our table. And these guys are all over the place. So let's see. We've got to find the number that they have in common. Let's see, which way are we going? I'm going to try and go up. See if I can get close. Oh, there it is. -43 and -43, both are y1 and y2, so x is going to be -5. Okay, so I have x and -5. So in my center somewhere, I'm going to put -5 and put a circle. Do I fill the circle in? Look at your symbol. I do not have the equal, so I leave it open. And now I need numbers to the right and left. To the right, my numbers are getting bigger, so that means I have -4, -3, -2, -1, and I'm going to plug in 0. If I go to the left, that'd be like -6, -7, -8. So pick a number that you want to plug in to the left. So I'm going to pick -8, and I'm going to plug in 0. I go to my normal display, and I'm going to put in 9 times -8 plus 2. And then I need my symbol, so that's second and math. And this is the less than symbol, so that's number 5. And then I'm going to have 5 times -8 minus 18. Okay, push enter, and I get a 1. That means -8 is true. So if I go back, I'll pull it back and enter. Instead of -8, I'm going to put in a 0. Okay, so let me delete the negative and put a 0 and test it. I plug in a 0, then I get a 0 as an answer, which means that the right side is false. And which side do I always shade? Okay, always shade the true side, which means I shade to the left. And make sure you put your arrow. Okay, so now filling in my inequality, the solution, there's the graph. The answers are to the left, which means from the -5, the answers are like -6, -7, -8, -9. They're getting smaller and smaller. So that means the x's are less than -5. And there's your solution. Okay. Let me scroll up a little bit. Okay, number next. What is this? Okay. The left side, here we go, was going to be my y. Let me get my pen to work. Y1 and right side Y2. So plug those into your calculator. Let me get rid of that record thing over there. Plug those into your calculator now. Clear. Y equals. And let me slide that so I can see my equations. So clear 10 minus 3x. And that's clear 5x minus 14. Okay, so we're putting them in the y equals so we can solve it and find out the answer. Go to the table. And what do we have? We got a mess. Okay, let's look at this. Looks like I got to go down to get closer. I think they're getting, oh, there it is, right there on the bottom of my screen. 1 and 1 is in the y2 and y1. So my y is equal 1, the x is equal to 3. Okay, so my answer lies at 3. Get back. Okay, so I'm looking at the x and the number 3. So in my graph, I'm going to put 3 with a circle. Look at your symbol. Do I need to fill it in or not? And it has the line underneath, so that means yes. Fill it in. Now to the right, I'd have the number 5. To the left, I'd have the number 1. Let's plug it in. I'm going to clear this, hit second mode, and then I'm typing in 10 minus 3 times 1 is going to be less than or equal to, which is number 6, and then 5 times 1 minus 14. All right, let's push enter, and that gives me a 0. Okay, if that is 0, that means the 1 is false. Okay, pull it back, enter, and now I'm going to enter a 5 where the 1s were, so that'll be a 5. That'll be a 5. Push enter, and now I get a 1. That means the 5 is a true, and we always shade the true side. So we're going to the right. Make sure you put an arrow. All right, so for my inequality, my answers are actually 3, and then they're to the right, so they're 4, 5, and 6. So they equal 3 as well as bigger than 3, and that'll be your answer here. I just realized something. Right here, the one above it, your inequality was not precise. Do you see what I missed? The equation here was solid, so that means this has an equals also attached to it. Okay. 3 more. On the equation to the right, I'm going to plug in y1 and y2 into my calculator. All right, 3 parentheses 2 times, or I'm sorry, 3 parentheses 2x minus 7, close your parentheses, and then I'm going to type in a 1. All right, let's go to the table. And I'm going to scroll down, and I don't see my answer at all. So that means I need a table change. I'm looking at my equation. My x here is, let's just try a half. Let's do 1 divided by 2. And, okay, I've got to go up. And I still don't see it. So I'm looking here at my x, and I have a 2. That's where I got the 1 divided by 2. If I multiply those, 3 times 2, I'd have a 6. So let me go back to my table change. Let's do 1 divided by 6. And oh, there it is. Looky there. There's 1 and 1 on both columns. So that means my answer is 3.6667. All right. Let me go over here. And that tells me x and 3.6667 roughly. They rounded it. So here on my problem, I'm going to put 3.6 and then a circle. Do I fill the circle in? Look at your symbol. That would be a no. All right, so to the right, I need a number bigger than 3.6. So pick a number. I'm going to pick 5. To the left, I need a number smaller, so I'm going to pick 0. I'm going to plug them in. Okay, so here we go. 3 parentheses, 2 times 0 minus 7 got to be greater than, which is number 3, 1. Equals, and that gives me a 0. That means the 0 is false. Okay, go up, grab it, enter. That means I'm going to go back to the 0 and now enter a 5 and enter. I get a 1. That means that the 5 is true. And we always shade the true side, so I'm shading to the right. So now in my equation here, I need the symbol. And since it's going to the right, those are bigger than, so my answer is a greater than symbol. All right, on the next one, I'm going to have y1 and y2. This one looks a little more difficult, but let's just plug it in. Treat it the same way. Clear out my y1 and y2. Okay. All right, so I'm going to have negative 1 divided by 3, parentheses, x plus 12, close parentheses. And then I'm going to have 5 on y2. Go to my table. It's probably all messed up because I did do a table change. So let me change my table. Let me do second and table set, and let's change these back to 1s. You can see what's going on. Okay, let's go back to the graph. Okay, so I still got decimals, but I do have some whole numbers fitting in there. So I'm going to go up. Quite a ways. Getting warmer. Oh, there we go. All right, so when they both equal 5, my x is negative 27. All right, so the x will be negative 27. So here we go, negative 27. I'll put an open circle because it's just the less than symbol. So with the negatives to the right, I have bigger numbers, so I'm going to put the 0, and to the left, just pick a number, and we'll plug it in. I'm going to say negative 30. Okay, let's go to our calculator again. Clear all those. I have negative 1 divided by 3, parentheses, negative 30 plus 12. Close your parentheses. And then I need the less than symbol, which is 5, and then a 5. Enter, and I get a 0. Okay, so that means this is false. So that means my 0 must be a true sign, unless I have messed up. I'll go back, pull it down. I need to change the negative 30 to just a 0 and push enter. I get a 1. Okay. So the 0 is true, and I want to shade the true sign, so that means I'm shading to the right. And that means things that are greater than 27 or negative 27 will be your answer. All right, the next one. This one looks complicated. Let's see, this is going to be y1 and y2. I'll go to my calculator. So 1 divided by 2, parentheses, 8x plus 6, parentheses. I have to go down, that will be 3, parentheses, 9x minus 15, and close your parentheses. I hit second and graph, and whoa. Well, let's see. Go up. That's getting terribly bad. Let's go the other way. Okay, that's getting worse. Actually, that might be getting closer. Oh, yeah, it's getting close. Oh, whoa, whoa. Okay. So it's somewhere in here, and I did not equal. They passed each other right there. So that means I have a table change that I need to do. So let's see here. I have an x with an 8. So let me try 1 divided by 8. Enter. And ew, this still does not look good. Okay, go up. They're getting close. Oh, they are close right there. And then they flip-flop. Okay, so it's not 1 divided by 8. Let's try the other x. This one has a 9. So let's do a table change. Let's do 1 divided by 9. Enter. And that one's a no-go also, but it's right in here. It's close to this value. All right, so we do have the half. Let's try the half, just to see. Let's do a table change of 1 divided by 2. And that's a no-go as well. All right, so we're having problems finding our solution. So here's a different way of doing this. And what I want to do is just actually push the graph button. Okay, you should have 2 lines. I have a red and a blue line. And I need to see where these lines actually cross each other. So I need to zoom out. I'm going to hit the zoom button that's in the center of your calculator at the top. And out is number 3. Okay, and I'll have a cursor at the center. You may not be able to see it on yours, but it's kind of waiting for me to enter one more time. Okay. All right, now this is really zoomed out. And all I'm needing is to be able to see the intersection on my screen, which I can. I don't have to know what it is right there, but I can. So I'm going to use the calculator to tell me what is that intersection point. So on your calculator, beside the zoom and beside the graph, there's a word that says trace on a calculator. But right above it, it says calculate, or it says calc. That's where I want to go. It's in blue, so that means I need to push the second button and trace. And then I want to know where it intersects, which is number 5. Okay? At this point, I want to enter 3 times. And on here, it's telling me, okay, my y's will actually equal each other when they are 11.347826. So we were getting close to that in our table. So that means our x answer that we were looking for was 2.0869565. A long sucker. Okay, so I'm going to write 2.89. I'm sorry, 2.09. I'm going to go ahead and round that to 2 decimals. So here we go, 2.09. Okay, so I'm going to put 2.09 and the circle. Does this circle, is it open or is it closed? Look at your symbol. It is just a single symbol there, so it is open. And now I need a number to the right. My favorite number is a 5. And to the left, I'm going to plug in a 0. Okay, so here we go. 1 divided by 8. I'm sorry, 1 divided by 2, parentheses, 8 times 0 plus 6. Close your parentheses. Then is the test. It's going to be less than, which is number 5. And then I'll do 3, parentheses, 9 times 0 minus 15. Close your parentheses and push enter. It is true. I'll go back to my notes. This is the 0 is a true. That means the 5 must be false if I've done this correctly. I'll pull it back, enter, and I'm going to change the zeros to 5s. Enter, and I get a 1. Okay, so that means the 5 is the true sign. And I always shade to the right. Let me get my green. There we go. I'm going to shade to the right. That means my answers are all bigger than 2.09. So that means I put the greater than symbol for my answer choice. Okay. On the back side is independent problems. So I want you to work this first one. We'll say that is my number 1. And then work number 2. And then work number 3. And we'll check them in class to see if you've done them correct. Or actually, I'll have to wait for you to come to class to do them in your calculator. So you'll do this first of class. We'll check them and then give you your assignment.